November 3rd, 2025. A typical Monday morning in Chicago's downtown coffee shop, until a news alert flashes, Supreme Court strikes down Trump-era tariffs. The room falls silent. A businesswoman gasps, the barista freezes, and everyone's eyes lock on the screen. In Ohio, Dave, a plant manager, reads the same headline on his phone. The tariffs had saved his factory. Now he wonders what's next for his workers. In Silicon Valley, a startup team's meeting halts. For years, tariffs meant higher costs for their electronics. Now, hope flickers. Maybe their break has finally come. Sarah, the founder, whispers, "This could be it." On an Iowa farm, a family listens to the radio. Years of lost soybean exports, profits gone. The Supreme Court's decision isn't just politics, it's survival. The news from Washington ripples across the country, hitting every industry, every family, in a different way. For some, it's a lifeline. For others, a threat. The Supreme Court's ruling isn't just a headline, it's a turning point for millions of Americans. The nation holds its breath, waiting to see what comes next. Cut to quick montage: factory floor, startup office, farm kitchen, city street, all eyes on the news. The story of tariffs is no longer just about economics. It's about people, jobs, and the future of American industry. In a single moment, the rules of the game have changed. The impact will be felt from Wall Street to Main Street and everywhere in between. The Supreme Court's decision has set off a chain reaction that no one can ignore. For some, it's a new beginning. For others, an uncertain road ahead. One thing is clear: America will never be the same after today. The story is just beginning. Tariffs sounds complicated, but it's simple. A tariff is a tax on imported goods. Imagine two TVs, one made here for $500, one imported for $450. Add a 20% tariff, and the import now costs $540. Suddenly, the local TV is cheaper. The goal? Make foreign goods pricier, so people buy American. It's protection for local industries and jobs. Governments have used tariffs for centuries to shape trade and collect revenue. But tariffs can backfire. Other countries retaliate, sparking trade wars, hurting exporters like American farmers. Tariffs also mean higher prices for everyone. If steel costs more, so do cars and appliances. So while tariffs can help some industries, they can hurt others and make life more expensive for all. That's why tariffs are always controversial. They're a balancing act between protecting jobs and keeping prices low. The debate over tariffs is really a debate about who wins and who loses in the global economy. And as we've seen, the stakes are personal, affecting families, businesses, and entire communities. Tariffs aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They shape the world we live in. And when the Supreme Court steps in, the impact goes far beyond economics. It's about power, policy, and the future of American trade. That's why this decision matters. President Trump made tariffs the centerpiece of his America First agenda, arguing that unfair trade deals had gutted American industry. Using old laws like Section 232, he imposed tariffs on steel, aluminum, and Chinese goods, claiming national security was at stake. The goal: revive U.S. manufacturing, pressure foreign governments, and protect American jobs. But these moves sparked global trade wars. Allies retaliated, and American exporters, especially farmers, were hit hard. Some industries benefited, but others faced higher costs and uncertainty. The America First policy divided the country, setting up a legal showdown over presidential power and the future of U.S. trade. That battle would soon reach the Supreme Court. Lawsuits against the tariffs began almost immediately. Businesses argued the president had overstepped, claiming only Congress can regulate trade. The government countered. Congress gave the president this power for national security. Lower courts were split. Some judges deferred to the president, others worried about unchecked executive power. The Supreme Court took up the case, combining challenges from importers, manufacturers, and small businesses. At stake, the separation of powers and the future of presidential authority over trade. The justices faced a fundamental question: can the president use national security as a catch-all to control the economy? The answer would reshape not just trade policy, but the balance of power in Washington. The nation watched as the highest court prepared to decide. Billions of dollars and the rules of American governance hung in the balance. The stage was set for a historic ruling. As the Supreme Court heard arguments, the country waited. Justices grilled both sides. Was national security being stretched too far? Where should the line be drawn? The government argued for broad presidential discretion. The challengers warned of unchecked power. The justices seemed divided, searching for a way to uphold the Constitution without overstepping their own role. The real issue: who decides America's trade policy, the president or Congress? As arguments ended, the nation braced for a decision that would shape the future. Billions in commerce and the balance of power were at stake. The wait began. November 3, 2025. The Supreme Court rules sweeping tariffs under Section 232 are unconstitutional. The majority opinion is clear. Congress, not the president, controls trade and taxes. The court says the law gave away too much power, letting the president make law instead of just enforcing it. By calling economic competition national security, the executive branch crossed a constitutional line. The decision isn't about politics. It's about preserving the structure of American government. The ruling unites justices from both sides, sending a message. Presidential power has limits. Dissenters warn the decision could weaken future presidents in global crises, but the majority stands firm. Congress must set the rules. The law isn't struck down entirely, but its use is now tightly limited. The era of broad, unilateral tariffs is over. The balance of power has shifted. Wall Street cheers. The stock market surges as uncertainty lifts. Companies relying on imports see their costs drop. Optimism returns to tech, retail, and auto sectors. Small businesses breathe easier, hoping for lower prices and new opportunities. But in steel towns, anxiety grows. Workers fear layoffs as protection disappears. Some see the ruling as a win for big business, a loss for American industry. Farmers are split. Some hope for renewed exports, others worry about new competition. The decision redraws the economic map, creating new winners and losers overnight. Across the country, the impact is immediate and deeply personal. The Supreme Court's ruling is more than legal theory. It's real life for millions. America's economic future has been rewritten. Washington scrambles. The White House pledges to respect the ruling, but vows to keep fighting for American jobs. Congress is split. Some hail the decision as a return to constitutional order. Others call it a blow to U.S. workers. Lawmakers debate new trade laws, setting the stage for a legislative showdown. Former President Trump blasts the decision, rallying his supporters and reigniting the tariff debate. The battle over trade and presidential power is far from over. Both parties prepare for a new era of policymaking. The Supreme Court's decision has forced a reckoning in Washington. The rules have changed, and the fight for America's economic future is just beginning. The debate over tariffs will shape politics for years to come. The Supreme Court's ruling marks a turning point in the debate over presidential power. Congress must now reclaim its role in trade policy, ending decades of executive expansion. Businesses gain stability, but industries seeking protection must now lobby lawmakers, not the White House. The decision could spark a broader movement to limit presidential authority in other areas. Legal scholars watch for ripple effects across government. At its core, the ruling reinforces a simple idea. In a democracy, power must be checked and balanced. The economic impact will unfold for years, but the constitutional message is clear. On this day, the Supreme Court redrew the boundaries of American power, and the story continues.